and welcome to this week's episode of Base Hits and Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Sam Fisher, joined by my friend Haley McClenny, who, man, we've got a lot to talk about, Halo. First of all, how are you?
I am living the dream.
I knew it.
We have so much to talk about. I am actually doing this podcast from my hotel room in Athens, Georgia, at the site of the SEC tournament. So, a lot of really exciting things happening this week, including the fact that OU and Texas are going to play in the SEC tournament. Like, how fun!
What a time to be
How fun!
alive and to be an analyst. Halo, I can't believe you actually know where you are because it's been a while. Like, didn't we just see you doing the AUSL college draft? Like, my goodness,
Yep.
girlfriend.
Yes. You saw me doing that in Nashville, which was awesome, by the way. Like re-seeing all of those golden ticket moments, I think was really cool just because you could tell how much it means to those college seniors that ended up getting drafted. Um, but it was also like and maybe we can talk maybe this is something we could talk about. I like didn't expect the picks to go the order that they did, but when you look at it from like a high level point of view, it kind of makes sense with what certain teams needed and where you want youth at certain positions and how
Mm.
you're going to use people and fit them into the lineup. So it was super interesting. But then yeah, hopped on a plane from Nashville to Charlotte to do rally cap. Hopped on a plane from Charlotte to Atlanta here today. Drove from Atlanta to Athens, and we're in Athens, and it's going to be a great week. And my eyes are still open, so like we're good.
Yeah, like you're breathing in, you're breathing out, like you're forming very coherent sentences. Like everything you say is making sense.
Give me another hour.
Yeah, that's why we're going to make this one real nice and easy for you folks. Speaking of, okay, let's start with the SEC. So this is the fun time of the year that we get these tournaments, but we also get like who's the champ of these conferences. And Oklahoma first year in the SEC, they're like, what, like it's hard?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. What's funny about Oklahoma is they're the only one of the top four seeds, I believe, it might even be five, that lost they actually lost three series.
Mm. Well, yeah, we
And
got
they
to talk
still
about
somehow
them losing
they
to
still
Florida this
somehow
weekend.
won the regular season.
That's crazy.
They lost to Tennessee, they lost to Florida, they lost
Hmm.
to Alabama, two of three. But then they have sweeps over Texas and over
Hmm.
Arkansas, the new number one in a lot of polls.
Yep.
So I
It's so topsy-turvy. I can't think of anything else. Topsy-turvy. Just, I can't wait to see how this tournament plays out because I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can approach a conference tournament, right? Like you're in it to win it, or you're like,
Mhm.
I'm a chill for a little bit. Whatever happens, happens. We want to look to regionals, like
Yeah.
I think that did that ever, I mean, as someone who never made it to a regional and never played in a conference tournament, tell me, is that a thought process that happens or am I losing my mind?
Well, okay. First of all, that's hilarious.
RIP.
But
Yeah.
yeah, go Lions. Um, but it depends. Like if you're
Mm,
pretty sure about, I think at least being a top eight seed, I think you're pretty comfortable with where you're at. Like you don't need that big of a boost
sure.
typically,
Sure.
because in years past we were talking about, at least in the SEC, we were likely going to get maybe all of our teams in, but that would kind of be a stretch. In some cases, you're
Yeah.
really looking to like duke it out with like three or four other SEC teams, but the RPI was still heavy focused out west with the UCLA's, the Oregons,
Yeah.
and those kind of teams when I was in school. So you were pretty solidified by the time the tournament rolled around that, you could drop a game and it's not gonna affect you. This year is really important for a lot of SEC teams. Missouri needs to win the whole tournament to make the NCAA tournament
Yeah.
because their schedule was so difficult that
Yeah.
they're not 500. But they still
Yeah.
have wins. But they beat Oklahoma.
They did. Who'd they
They
beat?
beat
They upset someone this weekend. They beat Georgia
they beat
this weekend.
Georgia 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
They played God bless Missouri. They played the number one team in the country 3 times
Yeah.
in a 3-game series, not just like a one-off
Not just
in
once. Yep.
Puerto Vallarta or Marinata or wherever these people go. Three like 9 total games against the number 1 team in the country.
That's tough. That's
That's
not
not
just
easy.
like your top 25 matchups. That's your
Mhm.
number one, 9 games. Like
That's
that
not
sinking in is like, man, those girls are like, all right.
like
Mm,
well, and then the poor girls, they probably have finals this week
oh my God.
or last week. Like, I feel terrible for them.
That's
So
tough out there.
tough. But you also can't control what SEC's like within conference schedule you're given either, so that's another conversation. But coming into this tournament, there's a real case to be made for like who's going to be the number 1 overall seed because you've got Texas A&M as number 1 in the RPI, number 2 in the conference. You've got Florida at number 2 in the RPI, number 6, the 6th seed in the SEC, but 2 in the RPI. You've
So
got Oklahoma sitting there at 3 in RPI, and then you've got someone like an Auburn who is the last seed, 15, but their RPI is top 20.
this is such a crazy year of softball.
So like what are we even talking about?
I don't know. I
I
honestly, I don't
don't
know.
this week at the SEC tournament's going to be insane. And people can get mad all they want about like, oh, the SEC, like it's overhyped, blah blah blah. It's not. And Coach Gasso will literally be the first one to tell you that this year has been really hard.
Yes, my gosh. Not if this would have been a hard year for them in if they were still in the Big 12 because of the transition that they've made from losing that senior class to kind of like refinding out what kind of team they are, how do they win, figuring out ways to win, figuring out how to lose. They've gone through a big year, but then also joining the SEC.
She's my SEC Coach of the Year. Just based off of that storyline
I
alone.
mean, I like you step into the toughest conference where apparently it just means more and you take home the hardware first year after losing that class. Different story last year. It's a different story, I think, if they do it in 2024.
Completely different story.
But this year, here you go. Here you go,
We
Patty.
didn't
Here's your
know
trophy.
we didn't even know who was going to be good on that roster. We had so many questions coming in about the pitching staff.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Ella Parker's going to be good, Pickering's going to be good, but like
Yeah.
think about the transfers. They have a freshman captain in Nellie McEnroe Marinas,
Right.
who is a strong contender for SEC Freshman of the Year. Gabby Garcia has been lights out for them.
Crazy.
And these role players are stepping up and finally getting their opportunity. So it's
And succeeding. My goodness. I mean, obviously talking about Florida taking them down this weekend, like that was really big. That was really big for Florida. Florida has had that where they're like, I remember, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or not, but I think I told people, I was like, I think Florida's going to win the whole thing this year.
I
And
think a
then,
lot of people thought that, and then they just didn't. The offense hasn't been offensing like it was offensing last year.
yes, like the cohesion of the offense, I think we've seen, like, obviously in that win against Arkansas, that big comeback, like oh man,
Sick.
unbelievable,
Sick.
right? Them taking OU, like taking the series, like they have shown glimpses where they're like, yeah, no, this is a national championship team, but like the consistency piece of like dropping, I think that's the same conversation we talk about LSU, where like LSU, we saw just spurts of greatness, spurts of like their ticket is punched to OKC. They dropped to LSU. What was with the scores this weekend, Halo? Because it was like every game was like 12-9, 13-3. It was such a weird weekend. Every single game.
It was so weird, and I fear that this is probably going to transition into regionals a little bit as well because
Yeah.
think about think about the data points and the access to film that all of these people have now.
Yeah.
You're talking about like
Yep.
elite level hitting coaches having a 60 50 60 games worth of film on some of these pitchers.
Yep. Yep.
It's a lot. So the offenses be offensing. But it's so hard
Yeah.
to your point on Florida, like it's so hard to be consistent 1 through 9. Like maybe your 3-hole hitter is hot for this 9-game stretch, but then your 6-hole hitter gets hot and this one goes cold. It's like you've got to be able to piece the puzzle pieces together in an effective way. But if Florida can do that, yeah,
Yeah.
they're they're definitely going to be in Oklahoma City, and I think they're a real-time contender for a national championship because Caitlin Oxley, that freshman pitcher they have, is really good. She's contributed a lot, and I think Keegan Rothrock looks a lot healthier to me. Her command seems to be a little bit sharper. Um,
Yeah,
she's like the rise ball definitely has more jump to it now. Just watching that series against Oklahoma, so
yeah.
I.
Which they need, which she,
Uh,
I like, obviously she took that time, nursed back to health, and now like she's where you kind of want her to be as your, leader going into this, and the arm that you want to see in arguably the most important games of the season coming up. So,
Right.
I love what you said though about like the data points and like learning and seeing things, because one thing I thought, on the contrary of that point, because I agree with you completely, like I think of the more times you see a pitcher, the more you're like, yes, please, like get me in the box, right? But Florida State, first true freshman to throw a no-hitter since Lacey Waldrop in 2012. Um,
That's good company.
like really good. And first Florida State no-hitter against a ranked opponent. So Jazzy went in there and she said, I'm not gonna give up any hits or any runs.
She's so talented. Like
That's
I know
awesome.
like Florida State staff was really excited about her. And it's cool because they
Yeah.
haven't really had to use her a ton because of the depth that they have as a pitching staff. I don't know that they have one true dominant ace,
Hmm.
um, as Florida State, but they're so deep that they can throw a lot of different things at you. But if she gets like her command right, her mind, she could easily be an All-American. Not this
Mm.
season, but in the future. For you to be in the company of Lacey Waldrop, you want to talk about a drop.
That thing
Lacey
dropped.
Waldrop dropping was
Man,
dropping.
sweetest thing, three different speeds, extremely rude.
It was so rude. So
Like,
rude. So
ugh.
tough to hit off of.
And I think what you said is really important, especially for pitchers who maybe listen to the podcast, is like it, we're kind of going away from the ace pitching staff. Like we still have it. Like don't get me wrong. Like Nyjah Kennedy is the ace of that staff. Carlin Pickens, Jordy Ball. Like we can name aces, but we are seeing pitching staffs utilized more as a unit. And I mean, think about it. As a hitter, if you have three at bats in a game and they're all against different pitchers, that that sucks. That sucks.
Sucks. Sucks.
So
But what a good metaphor for life though is like you can't do it all on your own.
yeah, you need your village.
Like you're gonna be so tired if you try to throw every single inning.
Yeah,
You shouldn't want to do that. You
that's
know
a
what I
lot.
mean? It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot.
Like, give me the ball mentality. Give me the ball, but
Absolutely.
also I trust the ball in your hands too. Like, it can
Yes.
be both.
Teamwork makes
Ugh,
the dream work. And
yeah. Yeah.
sometimes too, like I'm saying this as someone that's gonna marry a pitcher, like sometimes you don't have your best, like some days you just don't have your best stuff. Hitters go 0 for 4, pitchers have bad days. So like who's gonna pick you up and help your team win when you have a bad day? When you inevitably have a bad day, because you're gonna have it. You're not
Yeah.
perfect. So don't live in the la la land of like I've gotta have my best stuff every single game. You can't.
No, you can try, but
You can try your
sometimes it
best.
isn't there.
It's not, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. This is therapeutic. This feels
It
really good.
is. It really is.
Yeah.
Just like we
Um,
couldn't do this podcast by ourselves. Who would listen to this podcast if it was just you or just me? You know?
I would walk to the ends of earth for you. So I like that's a tough, kind of
I
a
would
tough
listen.
example.
I would listen
But
to just you. Just repeat. It
but
wouldn't
no,
stop.
it's
We do.
listen,
Do we get royalties on that if you just like play it and then it just doesn't stop? Should we get royalties? Oh, I'm gonna send a message to USA Softball and ask that
yeah,
question
excuse us.
because I'm low-key gonna start doing that.
If we're the only ones listening, does it still count? Is it
I think it counts.
is it's like if a tree falls and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. It's like if we make a podcast and no one's but us hears it, is it still a podcast?
I think it's still a podcast.
But we love you, Banties. We know you're out there. And we love you.
We've got group texts with multiple bantees that go
Yeah,
throughout
we
the week.
do. We do,
So
and we love it. And
people are
shout out to you
serious.
guys. You know who you are. That
Yeah,
be
you know
texting us,
exactly who you
listening.
are.
This moment is for you. So thank you.
Yeah, we love you.
Um, Yeah, man. And also Bantees, like we're gonna see you in a few weeks out in OKC. I'm just saying.
We are live
I'm
in the
just saying.
flesh. It's gonna be so
In the
cool.
flesh, just talking, bantering,
Bantering, bantering,
banting. I don't know what that is.
banting.
Halo and I both need a nap. In case you guys were just wondering, like talking
Yeah,
about needing a village, because if you try to do it by yourself, you're tired. Like you're tired,
we're tired.
you know?
We're
But we
tired,
love what we do.
and we love softball.
The pipeline to the women's national team.
HPP has helped me find a new identity in like who I am as a player. It's helped show how hard work pays off, and it's really got me excited for the future of our game, the future for me, the future for my fellow athletes, and for what I strive to do in the future in college and then potentially with USA softball in the future.
We love softball. Oh my God. Speaking of softball, um, Northwestern with the upset over the Bruins this weekend. Another
We
like
had. Was it our fault because we had Megan Grant on last week?
do you think I hope she's not mad at us?
Do you think she's blaming us right now?
We should ask her.
Rick.
Megan, if you're listening, we're sorry. We love you.
We're sorry, and we do love you so much, and we know that, like, just because maybe the oven broke this week, like, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get back in the kitchen and get back to cooking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You might need to use the microwave for a few meals, but like
Yeah, exactly.
you're gonna be fine.
She's gonna be.
But these like Northwestern has not been a team we've really touched on a lot because Sweet Cats, they've not had a great season. Like it is
No,
what it
they
is.
haven't. They haven't been what we've seen.
No. But they
Yeah.
come out and they score 8 runs in the first 2 games and then put a 5 spot. Like Lauren Boyd for Northwestern threw a complete game shutout in game 1.
Against one of the most prolific offenses in all of college softball.
Complete game shutout.
So yeah.
What
Yeah.
happened?
No say. You no say.
No, we weren't there. We were here. But
We were here. We were
that's
following
what
along. I was following along in pure confusion.
right, because last week we saw a Michigan team put up 3 really good games against UCLA but drop all 3. So like it's moments like these where you're like, I don't know about you, Halo. I cannot explain softball and sport and like momentum and carryover to people who like it's a feeling because I wonder
Yeah.
like UCLA should have probably swept Michigan, probably should have beat them a little bit better. Does that then carry over into their games against Northwestern where it was like, but like, how do you explain that? You know?
It's like, at least from an offensive perspective, you know what it feels to look at the ball when it's coming towards you in the box, and it's like, oh, it's a beach ball. Like I feel confident and I feel smooth in my swing. I feel like even if I'm getting out, I still feel like I'm squaring up balls, and there's like
Yes.
something positive to take from it. Whereas like if one little like to your point about Michigan, it's like, oh, this like if I'm UCLA, I'm thinking like, yeah, this shouldn't have been close. We're so much
Mhm.
better than that. And that's not a knock on Michigan. That's just
No,
the
of course
standard
not.
the standard and expectation that we have as a team.
Totally.
And so when you don't live up to that standard and expectation week to week, it's very natural for you to get going on that process of like, well, why is this not working? Why is that not working?
Mhm.
And then you start pressing, and then that energy becomes contagious in the dugout, and your other teammates start pressing, and then your pitchers feel like, well, I'm not getting the run support I need, so I've got to be perfect in my pitches, and when I have to be perfect in my pitches, those pitches aren't perfect, they're left over the heart of the plate, and they get crushed by a Northwestern Wildcat. Like it all, like everything happens before it happens.
Dang, that was beautiful.
It's a lot. And
It's
most
so
normal people don't understand that. But
it's
like it's very real and it's very, very contagious.
yes, so contagious. And even just thinking about like contagious around you, but contagious with you too, right? Like things carrying over where you're like, I am like at bat, last at bat Sam is carrying over into this at bat Sam. Like, yeah.
And think about just the mental space between series that teams have now, where it was like from like week before last, no midweeks,
Right.
You
Yeah.
have if you had a bad series, or let's say you had a bad last day Sunday, that's either a really dark place to be that whole week,
Yeah.
or like or it could be a really light place. I hope that it's a light place for a lot of people, but our natural tendency is for it to not be, and we start
Yeah.
overthinking. And then when we like, as the great Yogi Berra said, you can't think and hit at the same time.
You
So
sure can't. There should just be tumbleweeds all up in there.
should be, should
Even
be.
when there is, it doesn't work sometimes. So it's like, man.
So
Oh,
honestly, like softball is pure luck. Like the game knows what you put into it. I do believe that, but like hitting is so hard. Like
it I I like listen, I sometimes
the hair.
when we would watch our games back with each other, there would be times like even if I'm watching myself hit
Mhm.
and like say I got a hit, I would be like,
Really
that
proud of you.
looks so hard. Like, how did I do that?
Yeah, hundred
This
percent.
happens constantly to where I'm like, how did I do that?
How?
It
How
is
on
so
earth?
hard. Man,
How on
okay, I guess forget college recap. This is the mental health
this
episode.
is turning into a mental health episode. But how important is mental health as we get into the postseason?
Actually such a good point. Like it goes with the contagious conversation of okay, the regular season is over. Are we going to like if we were doing what like say you're Oregon and you just won the Big Ten, also new team in a new conference wins the conference, Scoducks, do you want to carry that with you? You know, can you make the good contagious? And the same goes for the others. Can you, if you did bad, can you leave the bad behind you as you enter this next phase? So it's kind of just like, it really is a new beginning.
Fresh.
It's mayhem. I'm so
Crazy.
excited. But let me shout out with Florida State, ACC champs. I just said
Yep.
Oregon,
We're
Big
not
Ten
we're not
champ.
shocked about Florida State, so just give the Knowles some props there.
Hey, they're coming. I'm excited to see their run. It's
It happens every year.
gonna be inspirational. You already know it. It's the same thing where you see in other sports where it's like when it's playoff season, it's like this is their time. Like
It's
they
their
are
time.
a
They peak at
May
the right time.
team.
They
Yeah.
peak at the right time.
Texas State, Sun Belt champs. Uh,
Yeehaw.
Oklahoma, we talked, SEC champs, Texas Tech, Big 12 champs. And I think we brought this up a couple weeks ago. Nevada, Mountain West champs. First year head coach Victoria Hayward comes in,
Shout
wins
out
the
Vic.
conference.
Awesome.
So I love this time of year. I did not mention the West Coast Conference because I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we're
But
not gonna
yeah, I never even heard of it. Don't look back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an exciting time. I'm really excited to see what did you looking at these, like let's just say Power Four, looking at these, are these who you picked at the beginning of the season to win the conference?
I didn't pick Oregon. I know that.
I did not either.
I didn't pick Oregon. They had a lot of question marks coming into the season. I think they've
Yeah.
exceeded a lot of expectations.
They've
And then
done
I think they're definitely a top 8 seed at this
they've
point.
done very well.
I think I picked UCLA for the Big Ten.
I would say that's where
I didn't pick OU for the SEC. I picked Florida, and they ended up finishing 6th. So, jokes on me.
haha.
Tech winning the Big 12, it surprises me, but doesn't because
Yeah.
Nyjah is so good. But I
Yeah.
still think the inconsistency of their offense. I think it's gotten better as the year has gone on. But yeah, I mean,
I thought we were gonna see more from Oklahoma State this year.
yeah, I did too. They have had a disappointing regular season. But
Mhm.
what regional do they go to? I don't know
Right.
that they're hosting.
I don't think so. I wouldn't imagine so. I can't wait for the selection show. I want to know where everybody's going. We're gonna have we're gonna have so much to talk about because obviously a lot of our conversation, we'll call it 85 to 90% of our conversation surrounds the Power Four. It's still hard to say Power Four and not Power Five.
Power 4 is weird, yeah.
But when we get into these matchups, all these, these 64 teams, we're gonna be seeing the teams that like, uh-oh, like we've talked about. Well, God, Ohio State's a bad example because they're still Power before. But teams like Coastal Carolina or teams that, like, shoot, Nevada. Do you want Nevada at a regional? No.
No, you don't. And
Texas
so,
State, you never want. Like,
no, and you also know, like, coming from a mid-major, like, your regular season champ who should win that tournament often doesn't. So, like, you get a really hot mid-major team thrown into one of these regionals, and
yes.
absolute chaos ensues. Omaha
Yes.
comes to mind last year.
That was so fun. So
What
fun, Omaha.
fun. What
Yeah.
fun. We love you, Omaha. Shout out
Yeah.
to Omaha. Hope to see you again.
Yeah. Yes.
But there's so many things.
And the best part about being a mid-major is that most of the time they're looking past you. You
have
know?
nothing to lose. Absolutely
They're
nothing to
looking
lose.
past. They're like, who are we going to play after we beat this little guy?
Right.
And that's
And-
when you're in dangerous waters, especially like you said, on one that's hot. So I'm
Very
curious to see
dangerous.
how it goes. Like, we haven't heard much about San Diego State in a little while. Like, they've proven to be very good in the postseason. I'm so intrigued to see Florida Atlantic. Shoot, them showing
So
up
good.
in it.
Liberty.
Liberty. Come on,
Liberty Bibberty.
Liberty Bibberty. That like is such excellent marketing.
Excellent. We love you, Liberty Mutual.
Yeah,
If you ever want to
sponsor our
sponsor this
podcast.
podcast, let us know. We feel like we fit into your marketing realm pretty well, but
Yeah, we're like so serious and totally not goofy at all.
no, not at all. Would I consider adopting a pet emu? Yeah, you bet.
Honestly, like twice a week, consider it.
Yeah, you bet.
So,
I think Mac
No,
and
it's not-
Noel would get along with an emu.
dude, Kevin may or may not, but like that's fine. He'll get used to it.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. Our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
I did want to shout out, we haven't, like, Nebraska has not been part of the conversation for a little bit. Like I think they were finding God, I've just started 30 different sentences. Sorry. They had a whole bunch of transfers this year. So like, talk about finding themselves, but
That's a story because
It
like
is.
think the fall is not in this transfer portal era. I don't know that the fall is enough time to really get to know people and go to battle with people. And like you need those like early spring, preseason, early conference play kind of humps
Yeah.
to really
Yes.
find out what you're made of as a team.
Yes.
And now these teams do, and it's really either like make or break at this
Yeah.
point. And I think Nebraska could be one of those teams to look out for, and especially with
Yes.
Jordy Ball's postseason experience already.
Yes. That's huge.
Like, look, they're gelling, I think, right now. So just keep an eye out.
To your point, to add to it, Jordy Ball hit a home run over the weekend that
Classic.
whatever, right? Casual. That set the Nebraska runs record for the team. Like I think with that they broke the record at 401 runs scored for the season. So like that is so gangster. Like good for them. I think they're top 10 in runs scored in the season. So like
Well, Nebraska historically is a really great offensive.
power. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah, man. Did you see Campbell? They turned a triple play. Did you see this?
The Campbell Camels.
I love that. They
I'm so happy about
aptly
that.
named. We saw an 8-5-4-2 triple play.
Yeah.
Like I love that you for that.
8-5-4-2.
That's exactly where I was like, yep.
Yeah. Confession, it did take me a really long time to learn the positions.
But once it's in there, once it's stuck, you have it forever. It just is a matter
do,
of getting it
yeah.
in there, you know?
It took a while for me. Naturally, the infield was the hardest. I always got 7, 8, 9. That
Yeah,
made
especially 'cause you're
logical.
8. Yeah.
That made logical sense to me. But it's the 5 and the 6 that always gave me trouble.
I don't blame you one bit.
'Cause it doesn't
That
make
6
sense.
is just, what are you doing in there?
And also, why is the 3 on the right side of the field where also the 9 is?
Right.
It's not logical.
Someone just decided one day, and that's nobody like questioned it. So, but I also think like
Probably
imagine
a man.
probably a man, Imagine, I just like am thinking about walking up to Kevin and saying, yeah, man, 8-5-4-2 triple play. And that like doesn't mean anything.
Right. Right.
But for us, we're like, you literally visualized it. So shout out Campbell. That was
cool.
That was fun. That's I mean, we've seen a couple triple plays happen this season across softball, but like they're just like so rare and fun and
It's
man.
Well, especially with 60 feet, you don't have a lot of time.
And the way that this happened, I mean, the one we saw earlier in the season was a tough one as well. I think it was on a ball to left field, but like they made 1, 2, 3 perfect throws to get these outs, and you just love to see it. You just love to see it. Ugh.
Execution.
Halo, I haven't told you lately that I love you.
I love you, brother.
This is so sweet. Bantees, because we are entering into the postseason, we have to kind of dial back the pod. Don't worry, we'll still be here. We're going to be doing our recaps, but we're probably going to tone down the interviews. We're just going to interview each other. So wanted to manage expectations here. Don't want you guys to be too disappointed, but we will be here. We'll be watching softball. We'll be talking softball. We'll be screaming, crying, throwing up softball.
Softball.
And then we'll be in Oklahoma City with each other.
Literally,
doing the same thing.
I can't wait. It'll be here before we know it.
Dude, we have so much. But like in between now and then when we're together in Oklahoma City, so much is going to happen.
So much softball, the regionals, the super regionals, all the storylines. Like this is truly the most wonderful time of the year.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I think you nailed it. So with that, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Be blessed.
We will see you next time, Bantees. Thanks for being loyal and true.
We love you. XOXO.
At this time, we would like to thank the USA Softball Store at usasoftballstore.com for our amazing gear this week. You guys can have the exact same gear that Samu and I have literally right now if you go to usasoftballstore.com. So go literally right now, and you can use code BHB15 right now and get 15% off your entire purchase. So buy a lot of stuff, get that 15%, let it all go to use. usasoftballstore.com. Again, that code is BHB15.